There's been, and I bring this to you because I know you are a musical guy. You started off, I believe, in music DJing before you went to sports talk, if I'm correct on that. I believe
That's
we've had enough
correct.
conversation over the period of time here.
Right.
There's been a big controversy out there in the radio land as far as Beyonce putting out a country music record. So please, KJ, I am not one. I am aware of Beyonce. I am not part of is it a
The
beehive? Is that what her
Beehive,
fan?
yes.
I am
Yes.
not a beehive person, just like I'm not a Swiftie. I appreciate the talent. I understand how good she is. I like some of the songs, but I'm not in depth into it. I'm also not a country music guy either. Just has never got into my purview. So, you as a music guy, and whenever you come on, you and I always are usually talking during the breaks, little music, background, everything else. Please educate me. What the hell is going on here?
Okay, so behind the veil, if you will, is sometimes you have to poke the bear, and this is what I believe that Beyonce is doing. Now, let me first preface by saying that if you don't believe that Beyonce has no clue of country music, she's raised in Houston, Texas. You know, I mean, that's part of your DNA, right? You're going to listen to that music as well because it's the prevailing music. Where some would argue, like, hey, Taylor Swift moved to Nashville and was a country artist. So let's put that out there, but they are kind of tied to the same. I think what Beyonce is attempting to do is to say, okay, I'm not going to make a song that's any different that's currently being played as current country music, right? So I'm not trying to create some magnum opus that you all have to come to. I'm trying to create something that's in the vein, and I have a bigger name than most of these other people. And then it's going to force some people's hands to say, well, we're not going to play it because not that it's not a country song, but because of who it is. Almost like we have a bigger problem with the messenger than we do with the message. Okay, so I listened. So the biggest one is the Texas Hold'em song, right? So there's a lyric in there. She says, well, park your Lexus and toss your keys out. And I was just like, okay, country tends to be a more of American made car. Lexus is a high end luxury vehicle. Then it hit me. I said, you know what? What's the top performing engine in NASCAR right now? It's a Toyota. So Toyota's a Lexus. So maybe like there's an advance there that I was like, whoa, mind blown. So look, it's a semantics. You hear this term, it's an election year. So a lot of sensitivities are very high. And when people poke the bear, suddenly it becomes a crisis to suddenly have the Continental Congress convene and decide what are we going to do with the future of the Republic.
Did she do an entire album or just a song in the country vein? I plead ignorance. I have no idea.
No, it's better to do that than to say that you know what should be and shouldn't be. So there are 2 songs released, that and 16 Carriages. My wife thinks is a beautiful song. She says it has such a deep meaning to it. I'm like, I have to go back and listen to it. But a full album will come. And I think the argument and what's going to be put in front of the country music programmers who decide these things. How can you ignore probably what's going to be the top selling country album that week or maybe for a couple of weeks, one of the most streamed country songs, and then say, well, I'm not going to play it? Then you're kind of admitting to, I have a bigger problem with the messenger than I do with the message.